Life insurance. A daunting topic, I know. Don't worry. We're here today to demystify the topic, give you some basics, some strategy, and things to consider when it comes to protecting yourselves and your loved ones. Hello, my name is Brian Hungarter, Wealth Advisor at Girard, and today I have the pleasure of being joined by Kurt Johnston, a fellow Wealth Advisor at Girard, and our in-house guru of all things life insurance. Yes, that daunting topic. Today we're going to walk you through some of the basics of life insurance, what are the various options that you have, and when might be appropriate for you. Kurt, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brian, for having me.
Absolutely. So, Kurt, we know that the topic or even the idea of life insurance can make many people's eyes go wide, right? It can cause a little bit of hesitancy or anxiety just thinking about a topic they may not know much about or may not want to know much about, right? Luckily, we're here to teach them the basics, do the heavy lifting, and show them the ins and outs at a high level, right? So, Kurt, let's just start at a very high level. What is life insurance? What should it mean to our clients?
Life insurance is a type of insurance that you can purchase that if you were to pass away, that would make your family whole.
What are the general types of life insurance that our clients should be aware of?
Well, Brian, there's two main types of insurance. There's term insurance, and then there's permanent insurance. And the difference between the two types, it's like the difference between renting and owning a home.
Let's expand upon that a little bit, Kurt. Obviously our clients are familiar with carrying mortgages and staying in a property long term versus maybe spending a week at the shore and paying out of pocket. But let's expand upon that a little bit and talk maybe about term insurance first. How does that relate to renting?
Okay, so term insurance, you rent for a block of time, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. But the thing is, once that time frame is up, it either expires or the rates increase drastically. In some term cases, you do have the option to convert it to a permanent policy, but the cost is going to be much greater than if you took it out originally, and you're limited to the policies that the insurer offers at that time. So, your term it's limited, but it covers that specific need, whether it is a mortgage, whether it is having kids at home and you need income replacement, whether you're buying a business and you need to cover that short-term debt. So term it's great coverage, but again, it is limited.
Excellent. Okay. And then for our clients who are more of our buy and hold investors, or those who are sitting around for the long term, we referenced permanent insurance being more like owning.
There are three main types of permanent insurance. There's whole life insurance, which our grandparents bought, which, paid a dividend, built some cash value in it, eventually got to the point where, these policies could be paid up. There's universal life insurance that there's different types. There's some that are tied to interest rates, and there's some that have an investment component in it. And you can invest in, different types of mutual funds in there, the S&P 500, many different options. But the big thing with a permanent policy that you want to deal with is you want to have it that it's guaranteed. You don't want to have some wild card that says, well, if the market doesn't perform, if interest rates drop, what have you, if the dividends don't keep up, you just want to have a policy that you put money into that is there for your kids and grandkids. And one of the beautiful things about life insurance, it is one of the few things that you can pass on in a very tax-friendly nature. And obviously, you can talk to any of the Girard advisors, and we can show you the benefits of the permanent type of insurance.
So, Kurt, with so many different options and segments and categories of either term or permanent insurance, let's maybe gently steer our clients in a direction. Which type or segment of coverage do you seem to prefer the best or recommend most?
I personally like permanent insurance. I mean, if I pay into something, I want it to be there in the end. But I have both. So, years ago, before I was even married, I got some, whole life insurance that I wanted to be there no matter what, whether, I passed away when I was 30 or whether I was 90. Because of that tax-friendly nature. Now, I did get married. My wife and I, we have a daughter now. And before she was born, I wanted to increase my life insurance coverage. But I knew what I was paying for my whole life, and I didn't want to pay, that much for that much more coverage. So I took out a 25-year term that says if anything happens to me while my daughter's in school or through college, my family is made whole. Now, once that 25-year term expires, I know that, okay, that permanent coverage will be there, for the rest of my life.
Kurt, I think you touched on it a little there, but just to expand maybe, when would you say is the best time for folks to be considering life insurance, whether it's life events, stage of life, certain age milestones, et cetera?
Obviously, if we were all 22, healthy, said, all right, we need a huge, permanent, policy, that would be great. But like you touched on it there, the life events is key. Whenever you go through the different stages of life, you say when buying a home, when getting married, when buying a business, it's really important to work with your advisor to say, do I need to up my coverage? Do I need to look at my coverage? My business has grown, 10 times over. Do I want to think about maybe converting some of my term or getting some permanent insurance for some of those tax, benefits that could be, used down the road?
Kurt, what are some of the more common instances or maybe occurrences that you'll see that should have someone specifically saying, am I insured enough? Do I have enough coverage?
For me, the most important factor is, do you have enough coverage? If you come to me and say, all right, well, I make X amount of dollars and we need this amount of insurance, just say $1 million of coverage. But you say, well, I can only afford $100,000 of permanent insurance. Well, you're better off getting a term policy and then maybe converting some down the road because, you really want to be covered in the correct way. And again, that's where you can work with your Girard advisor to say, how much do I need? What do I need as term? What do I need as permanent?
Kurt, if you had to kind of wrap up our conversation and leave maybe one or two lasting thoughts in our viewers' minds as it pertains to their own personal situation and what they should be considering, what would you like them to remember?
The main thing is don't always shop on price, because that's the biggest thing. I can send somebody 10 quotes and they'll come back and say, well, I went to this guy because it was $5 cheaper. But when you dive into the actual policy, it was $5 cheaper because it doesn't have that convertibility period down the road. It does, or it has a time frame. You have to convert it within 5 years. So that's a big mistake that people get. It's always on price. It really has to come down. It has to be a combination of things, price and quality of what you can do down the road. And always, I've never had a family member come back and say, well, I wish they had less insurance. It's always, oh, I wish we, looked at it more. I wish that person had more coverage, because that was what would really have, it really helped out our family, in the long run.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Kurt, thank you so much. This was incredibly helpful. And I suppose it's only the tip of the iceberg, but it's a very good start for folks to start considering things.
Great. Thanks, Brian.
And to you, the listener, thanks for staying engaged. If this raised some questions, scratched an itch, made you consider life situations, please reach out. You can visit our website, meetgirard.com. And while there, you'll find contact information for myself, for Kurt, and the rest of our team. We look forward to walking you through life's questions in the near future.